Hey everybody, it's MommaOG. I am back with another reaction. Today I have a donation request from Naren's New Age. He has asked me to listen to Yaima. This is called Ape Varu. This is a visualizer. Now he requested this months ago, before it even came out. It was due to premiere in April, and then that date got pushed. I think it was June 21st or something. And then it got pushed by another week to June 28th. So I'm a couple of days late, but this just came out June 28th. And I guess Ape Varu means dawn. And it looks like there is another language being sung here. I'm just going to look up what that is. There is a translation. Fijian. Okay, that makes sense. Although the translation that I saw briefly there doesn't match up. Anywho, so Naren, I'm finally getting to this. I'm just a couple of days late, so I apologize for that. I could use some Yaima in my life. Things have been a little bit crazy lately. Before we get started, I am recording with Mike out of the house. My dogs are loose and running around, so there's a fairly good chance that they're going to bark at something or nothing. I may even have to stop the video to deal with it. Also, if you would like to request a specific reaction, you can do so by clicking a donation link down in the description. Send along the information of the song you would like me to hear, and I will get it recorded as soon as possible. I also take notes while I'm reacting, so if you see me looking down, just writing down a couple things so I remember what I want to talk about when it's time to talk. I've got my earbuds in. Let's go ahead and take a listen. Of course, they always have beautiful scenery to look at. Beautiful. Almost sounds like backmasking a little. just want to note really quick, there is an effect in the middle of the video. It's been there throughout so far. It seems to be kind of a angelic or a bird light. It's like a mist that forms into like a bird, or it could be like an angel. I just keep seeing it, and these landscapes seem to be layered. Like down here, it looks like we're looking at land, maybe with sky and some stars, but up here it's water with stars. So there's some visual layering going on here. Just wanted to point that out. I rewound it a little bit. Let's keep going. You see right here in the middle, right here, it reminds me of a bird. Under the ocean, but you can see landscape in the background. There's that bird again. Love turtles. You've got underwater and sky scenes here that, man. Just watching that turtle, I got goosebumps here. Just watching the turtle swimming along in slow motion is, I've watched that on other stuff, not necessarily music videos, and it's some of the most relaxing stuff I've watched. It's just sea creatures moving in slow motion throughout the ocean. It makes you kind of envious a little bit. It's the same of being above water. It can be a beautiful yet ferocious world. But during the beautiful moments, man, it's just breathtaking. Same for underwater. If I had the ability to live underwater, it would be breathtakingly beautiful. But I do know it can get hostile as well. So when the song first started, I thought I heard some like backwards effects on the music a little bit. And then when she first came on with the vocals, it almost sounded like a couple of words were backwards. And now I don't know if that's because it was in Fijian or whatever language this was, and it just maybe sounded that way to me. I'm not sure. There was a little bit there when she first started singing that had some like harmonizing vocal layers that kind of stood out to me. I'm not quite sure if I can recall hearing that in their music before. But that little part there stood out to me, and I don't recall hearing much more of it throughout. The bass in this song was constant. A lot of their songs, they have some amazing bass. There's, I don't know, certain effects that they put on it that give different depths. This one, since it was a constant, you know, it changed tones, but it was a constant bass, and it kind of gave the song depth. When you're watching like a movie or something, and then a song comes on with deep bass, it kind of, you know, gives you a dropping feeling in your stomach. The bass in this song added a depth to the song, which then again brought about certain emotions as I was sitting here watching this beautiful video with these wonderful visualizations. As I said, I noticed many different types of visuals, sometimes all at one time. That was a beautiful effect. And of course, with the mist in the middle that was throughout, it kept forming like almost into a bird. At one point, it kind of looked like what you would expect Northern Lights to, how they travel, but kind of sped up. There was some flute in there that also kind of left it light and airy. I think the biggest thing that I will talk about with this song and with this group in particular, this music is always, every single song has always made me think, okay, if I need to listen to something and meditate, calm down, relax, if I just want to chill and focus on something musically, this is the perfect stuff to do that. It reminds me, even with the wording, some of the lyrics that are in their songs, it's about enlightenment. It's closely grounded to nature, which is huge for me. I feel an intense connection with nature. It has a grounding effect on me. Just to even walk outside barefoot and feel the grass on my feet is an experience for me. It's one of the few artists that I do on this channel that kind of just, you know, Aurora is another one. It kind of just keeps me connected to nature and the inner self at the same time. Because, you know, I think Yaima clearly is about enlightenment, maybe even, you know, your third eye type stuff, which I've always been very intrigued with and have wanted to kind of start that journey and maybe try those type of things. There's just so much, I don't even know where to start, but musically, this group gets me in that frame of mind, 100%. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read the English translation of these lyrics down here in the description. So the name of the song, Ape Varu, means dawn. A thread of golden light binds us, a sacred connection unfolding. Dreams move through us, carried in this untamed vessel. From the guiding light of the ancient fires, a land where deer are nourished, the gathering place for ascension. See, this is what I'm talking about. Just kind of stepping outside the normal bubble that is life and kind of going into oneself to kind of get out of oneself, if that makes any sense at all. For me, that's how I kind of think about enlightenment and ascension. It's a self-reflection, an inner thing too, but it's also with nature and just other living energies around you that aren't necessarily just all human. A land where deer are sacred, where the song of all voices becomes one. Energy still rising, as adaptable as the fox. Owls watch over with a deep current of love. The trembling light of dawn stirs on the horizon. I love that trembling light because it's very gradual. The sacred vow is born from this moment. The individual becomes aware of oneness. The opening pulse, wide open arms to unify. This is kind of giving me a lump in my throat because it just reminds me of all the things that are around us that most of us take for granted every day. All the other living beings that we don't even really realize are around us, but are very much a part of our world and have been for thousands of years. This line about owl watches over with a deep current of love. Just the places that the lyrics are taking me in my mind visually is kind of making me want to cry a little bit. Always they have these beautiful messages in their lyrics, and on top of that, the music itself is some of the most relaxing. I don't even know how to say it. It connects me with what's important. It reminds me to look within, and it also reminds me to appreciate other life outside of my own that is not human. All life, plant, animal, insect alike. I've always been that way though, like animals, anything living, like I have a hard time. If flies get in my house, I have a dedicated little plastic cup and a piece of paper that I trap them and let them outside. And it's ridiculous, really. But I just can't sleep at night if I'm ending lives of other living beings. It's just crazy. When I sit down and think about it and talk about it out loud, I sound like a nut, probably. These two lines here, a land where deer are nourished, and then a land where deer are sacred, that it's giving me like ancient times, because I don't believe they're sacred anymore, in fact. And then the nourished part, you know, there are a lot of deer, and I know that we hunt them for population control. I don't want to get started on all of that, just because that'd be a whole nother video. But once upon a time, we didn't have to do these things. We didn't have to interject ourselves into nature like that. Yeah, it's kind of making my brain think about all kinds of things that I don't have time to talk about. That was amazing. A great first choice. I just sat down to start recording, so I thought this would be perfect to start out with. Naren, thank you so much for putting this in front of me, as always. I thank you for your patience, although it wasn't really up to me when this came out. Got to it as soon as I possibly could. Thank you all so much for sharing this with me, and I will see you on the next one.